Good morning, and we are in chapter 12 of 3rd Nephi, and we're starting on verse 21. Now, yesterday we had it split screen, and we were reading from uh, Matthew chapter 5 and comparing at the same time. I wanted to concentrate more on just what's in chapter 12 now. You can always go. I think it's always good to do the comparison at times and spend some time doing that. And I showed how it works quite well. Um, but I think you can do that on your own as well. But I will. There will be times when I've flipped back and forth here. Um, but it's almost a different way of comparing as well. And I'll show you that as we go along. Um, so this next part, it's almost like an eclectic bit of information, but remember this is all tied in with their baptism and or being baptized and the things that we should do. Um, I think this is just as relevant as the Beatitudes. It's almost like this is another extension of that, but what he's going to talk about is what's written in the law, and they often call it the spiritual and the physical law, or the written law. So, um, one of the things that really bothered me on my mission was when missionaries used to make excuses by saying, "Oh well, it's just the spirit of the law that we're living. So we didn't do this, so we're just living the spirit of the law." That's not what it is. It's not an excuse to not do the things you should be doing anyway. And you'll see as we go through this that actually the spirit of law is much, much more. I don't know if I guess the word's difficult, but more is required. You can live the physical law or the written law um, and still not love God, you know? You can still do those things and still not love your neighbor. These are the things that God is saying. It can't just be external, it needs to be internal. And those things, when they're internal, it shows externally. I remember when I wanted to go on my mission. A lot of people go on their mission just because that's what you do. It's written down. Every young man go on a mission, so they go on a mission. By the time I went on my mission, I was fully committed. I felt in my heart there was times when I was so I just wanted to just yell out in happiness when I got my um, when I had my call and I was ready to go and things, because I was ready. That's what I wanted to do. It wasn't because somebody told me I needed to go. I wanted to go. That's the sort of thing he's talking about here, and we'll get into it now. So so you can do things, and it's probably better to do things. But he's saying, well, it's not good enough. You gotta really, really feel it as well. Ye have heard it said of them of old. So I've put a pink on it is where it says it is written, or also written, or whatever, because these are the break points. These are the things he's going to talk about, and he's going to talk about basically the Ten Commandments. Um, not in the same order, not the same way, but it basically he's going to take some of the 10 Commandments and tell you how they should be lived. And it is also, it's been said of them of old time, and also written before you, that thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of judgment of God. Yeah, don't kill. Makes sense. But I say unto you, whosoever is angry with his brother shall be in danger of his judgment. Of his judgment. And whosoever shall say unto his brother, Raca, shall be in danger of the council. And whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Now, a quick story again. As a teenager, I remember we used to go around saying that. I think it's mostly because of Mr. T, because he used to say fool a lot. And so we sometimes, something happened, we go, oh, you fool, of this. And one of my Sunday school teachers or young men's leaders pointed out this verse. And we went, oh, no, you're going to go to hell for that. Well, I don't know. I thought it was quite funny. But, yeah, anyway, shouldn't go around calling people fools. I think we do that too much anyway, in different words. And I think it's just saying, treat everybody a little bit better. And here it is, the way that he says it. Therefore, if ye shall come unto me. Now, this is where I'm going to flip really quick. We're not getting very far fast, are we? There's so much in this. Therefore, if thou bring a gift to the altar, and thou rememberest thy brother hath aught against thee. Notice the difference. Therefore, if thou shalt come unto me. Where are we? See how it skips? I don't know why it does that. If thou shalt come unto me, or desire to come unto me. I love the fact that it says, or desire to come unto me. So, in Matthew, he's talking to people who are living, well, they're both living the law of Moses, but they were living in a very Jewish way of thinking, and so that makes a lot of sense to them. But I love the fact that it's, if thou shalt come unto me, or come unto the Savior, or desire to come unto the Savior, and rememberest that thy brother hath aught against thee, go thy way unto thy brother, and first reconcile unto thy brother. Then shalt thou then come unto me with full purpose of heart, and I will receive you. So I love that full purpose of heart. I did not mark that, and I'm going to mark it right now because I can, because that's the way things work in this. And then it says, again, you can flip here in 25. Agree with thine adversary quickly. How can we keep getting down there? Whilst thou art in the way with him. Whilst thou art in the way with him. So that's all the same. Lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. He just makes it simple. He just says, lest at any time he shall get thee, and thou shalt be cast into prison. So, but remember, this is all under being more better at what you're doing. It says, verily, verily, I say unto thee. Now, every time he says, I say unto thee, he's saying, this is the higher law. Thou shalt in no means come out thence until thou hast paid uttermost Sinine, I guess, is a bad example of where he says, I say unto thee, but we'll see that as we go on, that's it. And while you're in prison, you pay any, even one Sinine. Verily I say unto you, nay. He's basically saying, just be agreeable, be understandable, be nicer, because if you don't, you're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot, basically. And I think that's something that we have to be careful of. So here we go. Behold, it is written of them of old. So don't kill. Now we say, thou shalt not commit adultery. But the Savior, I say unto you, this is a good example if I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman, or lust after her, hath committed adultery already in his heart. And that is a much bigger thing than just having the act. It's us thinking about, are we thinking, it's about thinking about our thoughts and what our thoughts are doing, and if we're really thinking about this good and wholesome things. Behold, I give unto you a commandment, that ye suffer none of these things to enter into your heart. For it is better that ye deny yourselves of these things, wherein ye will take up your cross, than ye should be cast into hell. Now, I don't know how much they know about the cross, but it's here as in Jewish times, the cross would mean death, basically. It's better that you die than to be cast into hell. I don't think it always ended up in death, but usually it did. And so it's just better that you die than being cast into hell because of these things. And it hath been written that whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. Now, don't think I'm really too qualified for talking too much about the Jewish way of doing things, but this has a lot to do with how they used to do things. And I know that a few podcasts that are probably better at doing this, a few professors that have studied this more, but just think of it this way, that he's talking about that do things in the right way, and also don't just divorce. This is supposed to be a protection for the woman as much as anything else as well. Verily, verily, I say unto you, that whosoever put away his wife, saving for cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whoso marry her, who is divorced, committeth adultery. But they're talking about a different thing. I think they're talking about the. Well, I'm not going to get into it here in this podcast, but I have heard a couple of good podcasts. I'm trying to think of them right now. There's one by John, by the way, and they do a really good one, and the guy there described it quite well. But I'm not. I just be given third-hand of information if I do that. So look it up. It's fine, and there's also scriptures there explaining a little bit more. But we've got a lot more to get through. That's the thing. And again, it is written, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but thou shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. So that's what's written. Now, this usually comes down to what people say, oh, you shouldn't swear. In other words, you shouldn't cuss, you shouldn't say bad words. But it's a little bit different, because remember right there it says, forswear thyself, but thou shalt perform the Lord thine oaths. So he's not saying you shouldn't do the oaths to yourself, you should perform it unto the Lord. And this again is something that was steeped in the Jewish and Israel, where you make oaths back and forth to each other and things like that, and you do it. But look what he says, verily I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne. What he's saying is we shouldn't have, you should be, well, let's go. I'm going to go down, and in verse 37, I'll explain it a little bit better, because that's what he's trying to get to. Nor by earth, for it is his footstool. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou canst not make the hair black or white. So, you've heard people say, well, if I'm lying, then let lightning strike me. Well, you can't make lightning strike you. That's a bad oath, you know. You can't do that. The same here. You can't change the earth or God's throne or anything. What he's saying is, let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever cometh of more than these is evil. What he's saying there is, what you say is what you do. Your word is your bond, or whatever you want to say. You shouldn't have to say those other things, because people know that what you say you'll do. You've got integrity. It's saying have integrity inside your heart and your mind. If you say, yeah, okay, you want me to do this, I'll be there, I'll do this, and then you are. That's what they want. They don't want you to be trying to make things, twist things around with your words or anything like that. They want you straightforward. This is what I mean. Behold, it is written, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, ye shall not resist evil, but whosoever smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him also the other. And if any man will sue thee at the law, take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. And whoso shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Give of him that asks thee, I'm just going to flip here. Just want to see what that said. Give of him that asks thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not him thou not away. So again, it's just where it says it is written an eye for an eye. That's much easier to go and try to make somebody pay for something, rather than saying, you know what, I'm going to help you out. Behold, it is written that thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. I say unto you, this verse really changed me as a youth. I remember reading this at a time when I felt that there was people who were despitefully using me. And it changed me when I followed this. I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them who despitefully use you and persecute you. It's not an easy thing to do, but it is something that changes your life when you do it. That ye may be children of your Father who is in heaven, for he maketh the sun rise on the evil and on the good. I would love to link this to President Nelson's talk, Peacemakers Needed. For this here is what the Savior is saying here. Therefore, those things which were of old time, which were under the law, in me are all fulfilled. Notice he's just saying, okay, see, there's the law. Now here's what I've done. I've fulfilled it. Old things are done away, and all things are become new. So he's saying, here's the law, see the new things. It doesn't, they might be done away, but it does not stop you doing those things because you are going to live a higher law. Therefore, I would that ye should be perfect, even as I or your Father who is in heaven is perfect. I don't know if that goes to where I was hoping it would go to, but I will check the perfect bit. Here in Matthew 5 it says, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. And this is always compared. So this is something that is pointed out, that he says, even as I or your Father in heaven. When he was on earth, he only pointed to his Father which is in heaven is perfect. If we think we're going to be perfect in this life, and Christ did not show that he was perfect in this life, and he lived a perfect life, but he did not say he was perfect in this life, and that it took him to finish his atonement on the cross and everything, to say, even as I or your Father who is in heaven is perfect. Remember that when it comes to this. And also, go back to President Holland's talk, be therefore perfect eventually. And that is on the Come Follow Me, and we talked about it 2 days ago, so I think that that's a good place to wrap up. I hope you have a perfect day,